They say deep in the forgotten heart of Africa there lies a village where the sun never truly sets, where the air hangs thick like smoke, and even the birds refuse to sing. The elders call it Obude, the place where time itself stopped breathing. No traveler remembers the exact road that leads there. Maps fade, paths shift, and compasses lose their minds. But those who stumble upon it, by curse or by fate, whisper of faces frozen in motion, fires that never burn out, and children caught mid-laughter, trapped between seconds that never pass. Once, long ago, Obude was alive. Drums echoed through the hills, and the river shimmered with gold. But one night, something descended from the forest, something unseen but felt in every trembling heartbeat. A trader found a relic that should never have been unearthed, and by morning, the first heartbeat in Obude fell silent. Since that day, no wind has blown there, no one grows older, and no one leaves. A few wanderers have dared to enter, hoping to uncover the truth. None have returned with their memories intact. Only fragments. A woman's shadow carved into the ground, a clock ticking without hands, and a whisper that says, "You are too late." But what really happened in Obude? Was it a curse? A punishment from the gods? Or something far older than human sin? Tonight, we journey into the silence, to the village that defied time itself. Before the curse, Obude was a cradle of laughter. The drums never stopped echoing, and the fields gleamed with harvest. At its heart stood the tree of Anin, a sacred giant said to have grown from the tears of a god. Every festival, villagers danced beneath its branches, offering libations to keep time moving and life pure. The people lived by rhythm, the rhythm of the seasons, of heartbeat and harvest. To them, time was not a clock, but a song that flowed with the wind. Among the villagers was Oledo, a young weaver with a restless spirit. He was known for his brilliance and his defiance. Where others saw limits, Oledo saw patterns. He wove colors no one had seen before, shapes that seemed to move when the light shifted. His father, Ezemba, the village elder, often warned him, "Curiosity builds a bridge to the gods, but not all bridges are meant to be crossed." Yet Oledo could not help himself. He believed knowledge was a kind of worship, and that the gods, if just, would not punish curiosity. Life in Obude was simple. Women wove baskets by the river. Hunters returned with antelope, singing praises to Anin. Children played under the shade of the sacred tree, tracing its glowing carvings with innocent fingers. But one night, as the moon turned red, an omen the elders had not seen in generations, Oledo felt something stir in the wind. The drums faltered. The river fell silent. The tree of Anin whispered, and the boy who listened would never be the same. Drawn by a pull he could not explain, Oledo followed the whispers to the river Emenka. The moon hung low and crimson. The river was still, too still. As he knelt to drink, his fingers brushed something cold buried beneath the mud. He dug with trembling hands and unearthed a stone mask, ancient, carved with spiraling symbols that glowed faintly as he touched them. The wind sighed his name. Oledo. He felt his heart stutter. The mask's eyes were empty, yet alive, reflecting a face not his own. He should have left it, but curiosity outweighed fear. He lifted it toward the moon. For a moment, it smiled. That night, the air grew heavier. Dogs howled. The river stopped moving. By morning, every rooster's crow froze mid-call. Time held its breath. The villagers awoke in horror. The sun did not rise and the moon did not fade. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and the sound of the wind was gone. Ezemba gathered the elders, their faces lined with confusion and dread. "This is no eclipse," he murmured. "This is punishment. Yet for what sin? None could name." In the shrine, Mama Udoka, the oldest priestess, cast her cowrie shells. They landed in a perfect circle, a sign of imbalance. Her hands trembled. "Something ancient has woken," she whispered. "The mask was never meant for mortal eyes." That night, the tree of Anin began to bleed sap that glowed like fire. Whispers moved through the branches. Some swore they heard voices speaking backward, names of the dead. Then came the disappearances. Children found wandering in the forest with no memory, men frozen mid-step, women who looked into mirrors and saw themselves smiling when they weren't. Oledo watched in horror, realizing the curse had begun the moment he touched the mask. Guilt gnawed at him, but something inside urged him on, a whisper promising that if he learned the mask's secret, he could undo it. He would have to face the spirit behind it. He returned to the river Emenka, mask in hand, heart pounding. The water rippled, though no wind stirred. From its depths a shape rose, Ebo the timeless, the spirit that fed on motion, trapped between moments. "You broke the stillness," it said, its voice both thunder and whisper. "Now you must become part of it." Oledo raised the mask. "If I must pay, let it end with me." The river erupted with light. A blinding burst swallowed the forest. The tree of Anin cracked and fell. The spirit screamed as Oledo pressed the mask to his face, light spilling from his eyes. Time shattered. The villagers collapsed. The river glowed gold. Then stillness fell once more. But this time it was peace. When dawn came, the first true sunrise in years painted the land anew. But Oledo was gone. When the light faded, the river was calm once more. The villagers lay on the banks, dazed but alive. The sky turned pale with the first true dawn in centuries. But Oledo was gone. The tree of Anin, reduced to ash, began to stir. From its roots a single green shoot pushed upward, trembling in the morning breeze. The curse was broken. Years later, a shrine stood beside that sapling. Mama Udoka tended it daily, her reflection in the bowl of water beside the tree joined by a faint image, Oleido's smiling face beneath the surface. The people rebuilt, but they never forgot. Children grew up hearing of the boy who traded his heartbeat for time, and every festival they left an offering by the sapling, a thread of golden fiber. The river Emenka still flows, clear and eternal. But when the moon is high and the forest too quiet, the villagers swear they hear a whisper rising from its depths. Curiosity never dies. And in that silence, they remember that knowledge without wisdom is a blade with no handle, and even time itself bows only to balance. Would you have done the same?